It's another week in the For Your Reference household, and this is a continuation episode because we've already covered the first 3 seasons of Snowfall, friends and lovers. So make sure you go and check out that episode beforehand, and also make sure you're caught up on season 4 because we are splooshy and we're spoilery and we're going to get straight into it. Also in the love and legacy of John Singleton, we've also covered Baby Boy. So feel free to go and check out that episode if you haven't already. Let's get on with the show. Welcome back, friends and lovers, to the For Your Reference podcast. You got your host, Katie.
And OT.
Welcome to the city of sinner and saints, where ambition is paid in the sacrifice of your loved ones.
Ooh.
Yikes. Join us as we expand operations with the FX show Snowfall Season 4 this week.
Wow.
Hoo. We said spoilers. Watch out for your parents. Watch out for your best friends. Watch out for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
This show was created by John Singleton, Eric Amadio, and Dave Andron. There was quite a whole crew that have come back from previous seasons of Snowfall in way of writing as well as directing. The Pamela Anderson Paninis hit at around episode 4 of this season, and it's only because I love to keep myself in the world, so I kept watching interviews and videos. Otherwise, you wouldn't have even noticed the quality.
Mm-hmm.
Of quality. This goes on the mantelpiece of quality season 4s with Insecure.
Yeah, it does.
Right? Season 4 premiered in February of 2021. It is on FX, also on Hulu as well. Top billing cast, we have Damson Idris, OT.
Yeah, Katie's up and coming.
Continue to sing the praises. How dare. My whole lifetime was made watching Damson Idris and Daniel Kaluuya, Hallelujah, on Instagram together. I don't need to see anything else in my life, to be honest. Carter Hudson, as well as Sergio Perez Mencheta. Mm-hmm. All right, OT, let's get into just general overall feelings for season 4. We did say quite a lot in the fact that this has completely continued the quality and raised it in ways that we weren't even anticipating. So feel free to give your general feelings of season 4. Again, we're splooshy, we're delicious, we're tantalizing, we're Spartacus, Jupiter Cox of it all. So feel free to spoil it as well. And we're going to get into all of the characters, specifically focusing on season 4.
I did not expect what I watched.
Right.
You know, at the end of season 3, I think there was some trepidation on my part on whether or not season 4 would be able to hit the heights that the first 2 seasons did and part of season 3. But wow, boy, was I surprised.
Yeah.
And the fact that, you know, and we've talked about the sort of shows like this going on for a bit of time and thinking that they're going to slide off, but to captivate our attention and our interest and to continually chuck episodes that just connect with us in such a deeper level is something to behold. And for me, you know, it makes me so happy to be able to, you know, John Singleton had a dream. He did this. And to see these guys take over the baton and just run with it the same way without diminished quality.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. That's high praise.
Yeah, absolutely. And every episode of season 4 was wholly encapsulated and self-contained. It was as if that episode was going to be the season finale. It was tantalizing. It built to tension. And there was a crescendo at every episode of season 4. Yep. I cannot stress enough how beautifully crafted this season was.
It was. It was. And the fact that we always come back to, do you care about the characters?
Yeah.
We are completely bought into this, environment.
I am right next to El Oso in the tunnel.
Oh, for sure. And every single decision, be it bad or otherwise, we think of repercussions. What will be the domino effect? What will Leon do? What will Leon and Franklin get back together?
Because they need each other. There's a symbiotic nature of their dynamic.
Exactly. And when we're talking about Vikings and, we've grown to love the characters for such a long time.
Yeah.
And when you have flashbacks of Ragnar or even Baby Bjorn,
Baby
the
Bjorn.
feelings.
Yeah.
It's the same thing here.
That's why, I do love a one night stand with a film, but give me TV shows every time.
Mm-hmm.
Because there is nothing that can spank an ass harder and sploosh you splooshier than a TV show.
Now you know my Halloween costume.
Oh, am I Wanda and your OT Vision?
Yep.
That's how we get down, friends and lovers. But this show, strength to strength. And I do hope that everyone does check it out because I know you guys are super nasty and you'll listen to it because we know the P-Valley numbers are there and we hope everyone is watching our Pussy Valleys. But in regards to Snowfall specifically, there was so much beautiful groundwork that was laid in season 1 in particular that is making season 4 so muy caliente. It can't be as strong as it is in season 4 if it didn't have a firm
foundation. And
we love a foundation in this household, don't we, OT?
Yep.
It is absolutely great. And we did say that it did waver for us in particular, in the last half of season 3, but it absolutely ramped up and exceeded all expectations.
Agreed. And, it's rare, especially, for someone like me who watches a lot of shit. It's rare for
Emphasis
a show.
on the shit.
It's rare for a show to come so strongly like the way Snowfall did in season 4 particularly.
Yeah. And I think also at the same time, even most recently in our Belly episode, Rest in Love and Peace and Power DMX, stories about the origins of drugs or building wealth from drug dealing is not new. Right? We have so many hours of content and most deservedly so on the podcast in regards to The Wire.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm not having a conversation on what's better, The Wire or Snowfall. I am not having that conversation. They both deserve to give all of our love and accolades. I'm not having that conversation. But, we even talk about 4 blocks. I'm holding the banner for 4 blocks. Even Narcos, for example, it's not new to have stories building wealth of drug dealing, whether it's fictitiously or whether it's, genuine stories. Right. So that's not new. But like you said, it always brings home that emotional resonance. And let's get straight into the protagonist of this show, Franklin Saint. I can't think of a character, at least in recent memory, that I give so many graces for. There was nothing that Franklin did. Maybe for a second I would be a bit shocked, but there was nothing that Franklin would do that I wouldn't eventually mental gymnastics myself to make myself feel okay about.
I get that. I think to me, Franklin, when I see him and I see him really trying to outsmart everyone, I think he's too smart for his own good. I think sometimes he overthinks things and he tries to be too smart by a half. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the things that, you get the conflicts with Sully or Man Boy, there's a fundamental knowledge in being on the streets and how things operate on the street that are completely different. And you can't really get that unless you're part of that.
But I think at the same time, Franklin is at least aware of what the rules of the street are. He just doesn't respect it. It's not that he's not street smart. He just thinks it's beneath him.
Cool, but it's the same old argument, Stringer trying to turn, profitable running with politicians or whatever.
Yeah.
You're always going to hit a brick wall.
Yeah.
And I think this season depicted the gap there was and just how much he really needed Leon.
They both needed each other.
True. They both needed each other.
They both needed each other.
But more so, since you're focusing on Franklin, there was still that gap. He could have his anchor there. But at the end of it, that understanding that he had with Leon, it's hard to replicate. And we saw that gap really exposed in this. because there was advice that Leon would be able to give Franklin that Franklin just wasn't aware of.
Something that's very interesting about Franklin's character is, he's that kid that will come to a maths test with a graphic calculator while everyone else has an abacus. He's that sort of kid, right? And it was interesting because Teddy was trying to school him on CIA operations. We'll talk about another day. But he was talking about, strategic militant deployments, right? And Franklin was trying to find ways to deploy that on the streets.
Yeah.
Streets are fucking messy, man. I don't know about what the CIA was fighting, but they didn't have Scully. They weren't up against Scully. So Franklin was interesting because he was trying to apply strategies that weren't fit for purpose.
Yeah. We get to see how that affects everything.
Yeah.
And the sort of effect it has on everyone, because it keeps on chipping at each and every relationship that he has.
Yeah.
But Jerome and Louis, we get to see how it affects everyone. And he's sort of arm's length approach to everyone and thinking that he knows best for everyone. We get to see how that affects.
Okay.
We get to see how it affects the family as well.
Well, I did say I've got a lot of graces for Franklin, and I guess this is where we're seeing it come out. But he also in his Hamlet soliloquy said, "I'm taking all the risk. No one's taking all the risk that I'm taking."
That's not true though. That's not true.
Yeah, but no one else is dealing with Avi, are they?
Yeah, but Jerome is out on the street. Louis is out on the street. Leon is running his own block somewhere else.
But they're interchangeable, unfortunately. No. Franklin is really at the heads of this. He is the epicenter of this operation.
Yeah, but at the end of it, he still has the protection of the CIA. The rest of the group is pretty much expendable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. So how is that a good thing?
No, I'm just saying, because you're saying, how dare you? No, because you were saying that he kept specifically Jerome and Louis at arm's length. But I'm saying the reason why he did that was to insulate them because no one was taking as much risk as he was to expand these operations.
Nah, he just thought he knew better. That's the simple fact for me. I just think he thought he knew better and he didn't need to involve the plebs in it.
We watch on different layers, you fucking pleb.
And that's why you thought, when I was thinking critically, at least when you jump into the last episode, where Jerome and Louis want to run their own thing. And at the time I was like, that's out of the blue, but it's fucking not.
No, I feel like that was a writing qualm that I didn't care for.
How much tax are you going to give Franklin?
That's all the tax that I have for this financial period. No, but let's talk broad optics in regards to Franklin's character, his actual sense of self and his sense of, or maybe you would argue lack of, morals. So, he's doing very questionable things. He's keeping people out of the loop, especially those close to him. There's talks of gentrifying the neighborhood, right? That old chestnut. And, Sissy has it in her mind that she's doing dutiful work, which I guess is relative, and we can come to that in a second. But essentially, Franklin appeals to a bookstore, which he already seemed to have a relationship with seasoned earlier, which makes it even more hurtful and gross. Yeah. But in any case, he convinces them to be a part of their corporation so that they can keep their store, only to, at the back of their hand, sell it.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I think that's when I saw Franklin as completely gone rogue or Breaking Bad.
You didn't care for his justification, saying
There's
at least
no justification.
At least you got money instead of not getting anything.
That's a family business. They probably had plans of how they give it to their grandkid or some shit.
But we talked, okay, friends and lovers, if you were following us in this space-time continuum, we recently did Concrete Cowboy. Did you not say that gentrification is inevitable, so you should be sustainable in your approach to it?
That does not sound like me.
Yeah, because it's intelligible. That's why, motherfucker.
What I mean is, we see Franklin completely, those season 1 Franklin, there's some honesty to him. He
naivete.
Mixed with naivete, I accept that, but he cares. We see him rolling down the street, seeing how the drugs affect people, and he was torn.
Your best friend Andre.
He was fucking torn. Come back to season 4. He does not give a shit.
Heavy is the crown, my love.
Heavy is the crown that stamp it on other people.
Okay, White Tiger. Go and listen to our White Tiger episode as well, friends and lovers.
It's hard. It's hard for me to really sit here and think that Franklin is really doing this for the better of the community, because he does not give a fuck about the community. And that's why we get to see his dad feeling like he needed to do something.
Okay, let's get into Franklin and Alton right now, because you want to go there.
I went there. Can you present your arguments, mate?
You sure you can stay there? Okay. I guess it was a simmering boil. One of the simmering boils that we've had that came to realization in season 4 was the relationship and the fragmenting of the relationship between Franklin and his father, Alton. There is a lot to say about them two, and I'm not sure how you want to tackle it, but Alton is fucking shit.
He's not.
He is. All right. Okay. All right. Hold on, OT, my concrete cowboy. Let's get into this. We meet Alton, or we have periphery of Alton in the Snowfall series as being the alcoholic father that stepped out on Sissy and Franklin. I rest my case, Your Honor.
If that's your whole argument, then it's completely null and void.
Okay, so we get more of a context in regards to Alton, that he was part of the Black Panther Party. Even when we're introduced to Irene Abe later on in season 4, there's talk of the chairman, Fred Hampton, and how Alton did a lot of dutiful work. And he was for the cause. Also, very late at the end of the season, we have flashbacks specifically in regards to Franklin and Alton, and how Alton is encouraging Franklin and is fine with him not singing the national anthem. So we have these moments. I guess I'm not saying I don't know about the storytelling style, because I feel like it was forcing us to feel a way. If you kind of felt an affinity towards Alton, then this was going to completely tip you over, like OT is saying, because you're seeing him be that father and be a man of morals and what he stands for. However, everything that the family and the household has is in credit to Franklin. Let's not have the debate about systemic and moral righteousness in regards to drug dealing, because I refuse to do it, because there's a whole class element to it, and I refuse to do it here, 4 blocks, and eventually when we do Narcos and Gomorrah, okay? I'm not having a morality discussion in regards to drug dealing or a systemic one, because it's all enraptured in class.
Hold up, pull back and rewind, mate.
All right, OT Lamar.
We see Alton clearly of who he is as a person and the morals he holds for what he fought for and for what he tried to get and what really drained him during his tumultuous time when he had stepped out.
Yep.
He's a vet as well.
Yeah.
This is a guy that's done it all.
Yeah.
So he's seeing the same community he tried to protect with the Black Panther Party be killed. We saw the guy that went to his shelter with a kid. He died of Franklin's drugs.
Hold up, pull it back and rewind. Who funded that fucking shelter?
Franklin?
Yeah.
He's not saying that your drugs he said drugs are killing our community.
Yeah.
There's a point where you look at where you've gotten, you have all the money that you need, you can fucking pull out. You can pull out. You don't need to go the whole yard.
The longest yard?
Yeah.
Will we ever cover that?
Of course we will.
That's going to be immortalized unless you edit that out.
I'm just saying.
But no, it's to walk a path, and dare I partake in a brief moment of toxic masculinity, for Alton to walk the path of it being his own man, he needed to allow Franklin to do the same thing. He completely cut his limbs off and threw him to the CIA.
He was naive. He thought that they won't react the way they did.
Come on, man.
But he was there when the Black Panther Party was being taken down man by man by the CIA.
Yeah.
He knew Franklin would not survive this in the long run. When this gets out, it will be a target on Franklin's back. You either get out while you're on top or you don't.
But what you're not understanding is, and this is a prompt, friends and lovers, to go and listen to our Judas and the Messiah. I did not misspeak. As Professor Oti said, black is redundant. Judas and the Messiah.
Facts.
No one man in the opposition that is being targeted can take down a system. Do you not understand that?
You can raise awareness, you can do something about it. And he was tired on sitting on his laurels.
Specifically in Snowfall, no one man, as in Alton, could take down the CIA. That was not feasible. So everything he was doing was willfully harming his son and his wife and his family. That's what you don't understand. It's unfucking fair, but also Alton's been around to know that he cannot stop the forces that are in place. And let's talk about it, because we already said spoilers. Let's come to the end of the season. I want to close out this Alton arc right now, okay? A lot happened, especially in the final sort of episodes in season 4, but we're particularly focusing on Alton. The writing was on the wall, right? Once Irene Abe died, he went onto the radio and it was pretty much like a suicide mission. He's like, I'm going to say the names. He even said Teddy's name, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, he did. And he said, I'm going to come back and bring some more information. Locked and loaded. Like, he wasn't tentative about that shit. So if you want to admire that, fine, right? So we have a standoff between Teddy, Franklin, and Alton. Right? And Sissy, very lovely, very dutifully, gets in the middle of it all. Mm-hmm. Promises Teddy that they're just going to leave and never come back. They've got passports. They're going to leave and never come back. Cut to one of the final scenes in season 4, where we have Alton thinking that Sissy has come back from the market. Lo and behold, surprise to no one except for Alton, it was Teddy. I want to talk about that scene.
We saw it coming.
Why didn't he? Why was he so surprised? That's what I don't understand. You made your choices. You're aware of how things work, and you've made peace with that choice. Why was it confusing to you that Teddy would show up?
Sometimes it's good to believe in the greater good. That something, somewhere, whatever action or whatever how small you are, that your little minuscule action would affect, be it even a small cog in a machine, even would make a change.
Okay, but even if it made a minuscule change, is that equating to the life of your son and your wife?
He was ready to give himself up. He was ready to give his life up for the cause.
There was proximity shrapnel, my love.
There was, but Franklin was beyond saving. He's completely gone. Even Heisenberg, like he's in Heisenberg territory by now.
Excuse me, I'm Katie the Frey, and I'll tell you how to save a life. How dare you?
And it's the same thing, you know. You said that he's naive and he couldn't understand. He should have known better that he couldn't change anything. But it's the same thing that we're always told. You know, when Kenya was fighting for independence with our spears, when facing an army with soldiers with guns and whatever, they were told you're not going to make a fucking difference, but that didn't stop anyone. That didn't stop the Maji rebellion going with their purified water, facing guns and getting slaughtered. It's about doing something and standing up for what you believe in and doing what's right. And for this, I will not hold Alton in any sort of bad light, because he thought he was doing it for the greater good, for the community that he tried to protect. And seeing it being degraded into some sort of CIA playhouse, you know, keep the black people there. Nah, man, nah. And it's the same thing when we're talking about District 9. It's to sort of give those prawns some cat feed. You know, get them addicted to some shit. Control them that way.
You know what? You recently brought up African dictators in Belly, and now you're talking about African warriors. Where am I supposed to go from there, mate?
I'm just saying, there's some nuance level to Alton's shit. He's not just coming to this saying, oh, mate.
Is Alton Kenyan?
He is. His real name is Altoni, mate. You know, but far be it from me to say his motives or whatever.
No, close be it from you. Not far be it, close be it.
But looking at Alton and his actions, I cannot fault him one bit. I think anyone who really did held his community close or see people die for just baseless shit, especially when they've already got all the money they need. And if there was just to escape to some remote country to hide from the CIA, regardless of how folly that might be, why not just give it a chance, you know? And that's where I think Franklin is so set to be this Heisenberg character in this. That
why are you giving so much accountability to Franklin and not Alton? That's what I'm not understanding. What you don't understand is Alton was trying to hurt the enemy, but unfortunately, his son was in the crossfire and he didn't fucking care.
Well, he took a bullet for Franklin, though.
How about when Franklin socked him in the face and he kept coming around to the house and it's like, what are you, a fucking stray cat? Leave.
He's the father, mate.
Is he? When he wants to be. Fuck off. And wow. I guess to be clear, friends and lovers, I never liked Alton since the start. I started to like him.
Tell.
I have a daddy issue. That's why OT's here.
Oh, wow.
Say la vie, say daddy, I guess.
I guess.
Okay, let's theorize. I feel like Alton is dead. I feel like this show is steeped in enough quality to not pull its punch literally, and I feel like Alton's dead.
Yeah, Alton's dead. I think
good.
The last step for me in season 5 would be Franklin against Teddy, because we know it's coming. We know it's coming.
Game respect game, though.
Yeah, not to the point where you kill the dad. You know, in as much as Franklin hates Alton, there's some boundaries, mate.
Yeah.
I can punch my father, I can sucker punch my father, but you cannot kill him.
Can you?
Yeah.
I've never seen you disagree with your father.
I can't. What is disagreeing with your father even mean?
And now we learn, friends and lovers, I'm not the only one with a daddy issue.
We all got daddy issues. Come on now.
How come you don't say I love you, man? Oh, okay. Well, I think that's enough for Alton, so we can get on to other characters. Is there anything you want to say about Sissy? I have a couple of things.
She's trash, man.
Okay.
I'm holding true to my opinions from the first season to the third one.
Yeah, it just felt weird because it's the first female character that we're talking about. That's all.
Lou is great.
Yeah, Sissy was interesting because what really bothered me in the earlier seasons was she was so scornful towards Jerome without even realizing that Jerome was that buffer between Franklin and the streets. Mm. And he did so much to make sure that Franklin was okay. Mm. And then, you know, once it became legitimate money, she was all for it.
Yep. Yeah, she did not. At least we get to see her realize. We get to see her realize how the importance Jerome played in all this. It wasn't Jerome spoiling Franklin. Franklin was way beyond that, you know?
I disagree.
It's more Jerome came into it just so that he could protect Franklin. And once Sissy saw that, I think that sort of repaired their bond and relationship. They got to be together. They enjoyed each other's company after that. One of the things that does really grind my gears when it comes to Sissy is she is so fucking flippant.
Yeah, she's a flip-flopper.
Yeah, she can be turned one way or another just by the flip of a switch.
Or a coin. More specifically.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
Because I remember the whole gentrification thing. She was like, Franklin, all right, move on. And it's like, all right, lady.
Yeah, she seems, and I think this is why we get a different sort of reaction from or we get to see the difference between Sissy and Alton is, in as much as Alton stands up for what he thinks is right, Sissy sees the wrongs that's happening, but she just doesn't want to rock the boat. She said she's lost Franklin before and she's not going to lose him again.
But she was also indulging in the riches.
Yeah, she enjoyed. She was getting herself bling and all.
Not a bad thing, but she was
enjoying that luxury.
Yeah. Alton, I will give Alton that much. She wasn't
was big
there.
pimping. There was nothing like that.
Was she on the yacht with Jay-Z?
Yeah, she was. So when it comes to Cece, I think the aspects of her character that I feel cool, I can understand and I kind of resonate with.
But she moves in believable ways.
Yeah.
She wasn't just doing wonky stuff for no reason.
Yeah, and I think one of the last things that at least got my respect or made me look at Sissy completely different way is when she decided to go with Alton at the end of it all. Because I still felt, I had a nagging feeling at the back of my mind that she'll just be like, fuck it, Alton. Teddy, shoot him. I'll protect Franklin no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, kudos for her trying to step out. You know, it's not going to end well for her and think she's going to even go, she's going to go bad. She's going to break bad as well. Once she finds Alton's body.
But when they were leaving and you knew they were never going to see each other again. Like, you just knew it. Like, and to see Franklin and Sissy, Damson and Michael specifically, you can just see how many years they've spent together on this TV show. And one of the most beautiful emotional moments of this show, I guess because Alton wasn't in the view either, but seeing that mother and son relationship, and unfortunately we were going to lose that, but it was so tender and it was so real and when it was so true. Everything that Sissy did was to help Franklin. In earlier seasons, it was to help him see that this wasn't the life. But once she realized that he was going to keep pushing and he was ambitious like that, she tried to be able to be in his sphere to make sure he was okay.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's speak more about Franklin's sphere. I want to talk about Jerome and I want to talk about Louis. Jerome and I would say Leon are my favorite characters in this show. Yeah,
I agree with that.
I don't care for Louis. The way you feel about Sissy, I feel about Louis because she was a lot. She was a lot, and she was
like Franklin.
She was a lot, and she was everything.
She was in the game. She was like, yeah, I'm completely bought in.
But a lot of her connections is what got Franklin started.
Yeah, so
I acknowledge that.
To me, when it comes to Jerome and Louis, is I dislike the way she's treated Jerome because I think she should have been more open with Jerome, especially since he wants to do the right by both Louis and Franklin.
Yeah.
And he truly does care.
Yeah.
So to be put in a spot where he is just blind, doesn't know shit what's happening, is completely wrong. And I think that's where Louis just fucked up. Especially
because Jerome opened the door to Franklin. Because it was his dealing that got Franklin out on the streets and then he went and met Harvey.
Yeah. And Jerome is fucking Franklin's uncle.
And he's loved and respected by the streets as well, which we see later on, in particular with Leon.
Yeah, he's old school that way. Yeah. So it's weird that that's how it turned out. And then for it to all play out the way that, Jerome is hell-bent on going to Fatback's funeral.
Out of respect, yeah.
And Louis is like, mate, are you kidding me?
Why do you need to concern yourself with that stuff?
It wasn't that. It was that they had... There was a bounty on their heads, mate.
Nah, Louis in an ivory tower, mate. She don't want to see where where the sausage is made.
We're not talking about Sissy. Right?
Hey, you stay off my Sissy.
There was a bounty on their heads, and we come to see it pass. She was like, mate, something's going to happen when you go there. As soon as we saw the slow-mo walk, Louis coming up.
Bye, Louis.
Walking up the curb. We knew what was going to happen. We knew it.
Louis. There's a lot to say about Louis, which, I've already mentioned in the previous episode, so I'm not going to get into it now. I'm not necessarily a fan of Louis. You say she's like Franklin, but she's worse.
They're equally bad.
Wow. A particular quote that I really enjoyed came from Jerome when he was talking to Franklin. This shit ain't easy, but it doesn't have to be complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, it's so fucking exhausting. All of these secrets, all of this running around, just run it to me straight.
Agreed. And I think their split makes so much sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In retrospect, because at the moment we're watching it, you're like, what the hell? This brings back to Franklin how crap of a character he is.
Mm.
Jerome and Louis have just asked out to run their own game.
Yep.
But they'll still, of course, divvy up the money. Then we get Leon telling Franklin, mate, they're your family. Just give them whatever they want. And what does he do? He's like, nah, man. I'll find a way to bring them back. Leon himself asks, I can't do this anymore. After killing a kid, his heart is no longer in that. And what does Franklin do? You're staying right there, man. What kind of, you know what? I envision something. Franklin is going to die in the next season. And you know who's going to kill him? Jerome, Louis, and Leon. Shots to the back. Flat back. You've heard it here fast, man.
There's a stranger on my pond. How did you get here? Get the fuck out. So it's going to be like a tri-spiracy.
Yeah.
Is what you're saying. Mm-hmm. That's garbage. Stop submitting your storylines to TV shows. I don't want to see your storylines on my TV shows.
Man, if it could happen to Caesar, it could happen to Franklin.
Death unto Caesar?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. Let's talk about Leon. One of the sweetest moments and emotional moments in season 4 was when Sissy went to go and see Leon, and something so simple as just braiding his hair was such a beautiful, tender moment.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the unexpected things I saw about Sissy. I thought
I knew you were going to do that.
I thought she'd come up with her preachy self. Why'd you do that, Leon? How could you do that? And for her to just understand the gravity of the situation and not say a word. I think that was my favorite Sissy moment in the whole show. Up to date. Hands down.
All right, detective friends and lovers. Someone also has mummy issues in addition to daddy issues. Leon is a fucking G, and he is solid throughout this show and specifically within season 4. It is unfortunate that he shot a kid, but it wasn't deliberate, and it's a believable sort of story arc, and it'll be an interesting development following Leon on the aftermath of that, because you can see he's still reeling from that and he's still trying to pick up the pieces from that.
Yeah, completely agreed. I think Leon is one of the faves in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not sure how it ends for him, because he is in a place where he feels like he can't do anymore. But he can't leave Franklin because he feels obliged to him.
Well, it's interesting because we even see semblances of Jerome wanting out of the game as well. Even though everyone made fun of his speaker store, he genuinely was happy. He was fine having his speaker store. And I think Leon is getting to that point as well where he's just had enough. Like, he's worn down by it all.
Yeah, I think the death of Fatback also just pushed him over as well.
Yeah, especially because Fatback was willing to do the time.
And he was supposed to be under protection of Franklin. Mate, Franklin does not look after his own people. He was like, I'll send someone over. Fatback was released and he was nowhere to be seen. He didn't send anyone.
Wait until we get the 50 Cent spin-off of Alton in his younger years. And we'll see his path of destruction.
Oh, man. It's just one of those things that I think Franklin needs to take better care of his own family.
As opposed to the father of the family.
He's running the show. He is. So might as well take the responsibility. If he's fucking big enough to make a deal with CIA and put everyone else's life in danger, he should be able to step up when he's called upon and look after his own fucking family.
Disagree. Hard disagree. I just wanted to quickly mention Kevin because we had a trio at the start of Snowfall. We had Franklin, Leon, and Kevin. And I just wonder what it would be like in the show if Kevin wasn't the one that was shot. I don't think
he would have died ages ago.
You reckon?
Yeah, he was not one for the streets. He was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's going to happen one way or another.
Talk about happening one way or the other. Let's get to a character that I don't care for, but definitely a lot to talk about. So we definitely want to get to it. Let's talk about Teddy.
I don't know why you don't like Teddy. He's got his own sense of allegiances.
Doesn't Sissy?
His obligations.
Doesn't Sissy?
Nah. But he's seen shit. He's had to kill a lot of people that he didn't want to kill. He's seen a lot of shit.
All right.
And to be on the field for that long alone, without any sort of support, with a crap wife. Have you forgotten about his fucking ex-wife?
No, but we talked about it in that episode. I don't need to give him that grace.
He's been through shit. So I know that he's just doing whatever he thinks is right.
Grab your abacus because he's been through shit, but he's also administered shit. So I would say that they balance each other out, mate. He made his brother consume his body weight in coke. So that's
he did not, he sent his brother there and they tortured his brother.
Oh,
he did not know he did not know it's gonna happen that way.
Franklin didn't know what the drugs will do to the community then, you dickhead. Fuck off.
Wow.
Fuck out of here, Bill O.T. O'Neill.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
I will give Teddy this. I really appreciate, dare I say, admire him not trying to roll up any sense of morality, because that's what's really annoying. You know, when people spitefully and willfully do something and then they pretend it's some altruistic thing like fucking Alton, right? If you want to be a shit person and you want to do a shit thing, then don't try and make yourself like an angel. So I will give Teddy that credence. He knew he was a fucking cretin and he carried his way in cretinous ways.
But the thing that really got me is their close bond with Oso. That was really cute to see, you know, because Oso is a great character. And when we see the Teddy interacting with someone, at least trusting someone else, because he's been quite closed up until now. You know, we had his partner, the partner was shit, who ended up killing anyway.
Yeah.
So it was good to see him have someone who he can lean on. You know, they didn't have to say a million words. They didn't even have to fucking say a word. They just knew where they stood with each other. And to me, that was really heartwarming to see.
It's interesting where you choose to deposit your emotions, mate. In the heartless killer. Yeah, it was interesting. And I want to talk a little bit about his family because, you know, like you said, that's the differentiator in regards to Teddy and Franklin, at least this part of the journey, that Franklin still cares for his own. Teddy disbands that. And where you see all of any sort of tethers, you know, being cut off was the moment that the dad called and said that the brother died, the funeral already happened, leave me alone, don't ever fucking talk to me again, right? That's where, if there was any sort of inkling that Teddy might still care about someone, anyone, that removes all doubt that he is just a lone ranger out there.
Yeah, he's definitely alone. Yeah, and you know, that's all a shit thing for the dad to do. But they've had a really rocky relationship anyway. But to me, Teddy is, in as much as he is a stone cold killer, at least he took Franklin under his wing. You know, it was easy enough to just give Franklin all the fucking coke and just be like, you know, you do whatever you want to do.
He is capable of caring.
But he taught Franklin the game.
And he didn't need to.
He didn't need to. You know, and for some fucking weird reason, he fucking cares about Franklin. In as much as he says, nah, you know, you're dispensable. I can find someone else. That's out of anger or frustration. At the end of it, He wants to see Franklin fucking succeed, at least until the end of it.
Well, I guess there was a part of him that felt a kinship between himself and Franklin that, despite it all, Franklin is ambitious and he's going to show him the ropes. And I guess there was a part of him that was also disappointed that he didn't want his dad to die either.
Yeah. And he told, he's given Franklin a lot of truth bombs. When he told Franklin, don't fucking trust anyone, that made Franklin start reevaluating all his fucking conversations and relationships.
Oh, yeah.
Because T, this is why Franklin, I don't get Franklin sometimes. One time he's supposed to be this fucking person who thinks about every other process. He thinks about 10 steps forward.
Yeah.
And then T drops out of nowhere, asks some silly questions all the time. Continues asking these questions all the time. And I'm like, mate, at what point are you going to realize that T has some ulterior motives?
Yeah. And then they try to make it as if he knew it the whole time. But it's
He didn't.
Did your dick know? Like, were you aware?
It didn't.
Yeah. And the fact that he would just take calls in front of her, I thought that was a bit weird.
Yeah.
Like, tell her to leave the room or something.
Especially when you're dealing with your connect. You're talking to Teddy, mate. Go hide in the bathroom or some shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Quick little shout out to the character Lerp because I clocked that he was Monk from The Wire. So there's another Wire crossover there. We talked a little bit about T. I don't really have much more to say about her aside from the fact that she was let in too early into the inner sanctum. I want to talk about Scully, Khadijah, Manboy. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit about Irene. I loved Irene as soon as she popped up on the screen. I loved everything about her. I loved the sort of character she was. I love that there was dimension to her character and it showed that as much as she was ambitious, there was sacrifices that she made in her personal life as well, even to the point where her adult daughter doesn't talk to her anymore. Her marriage fizzled, but she's always been, adamant about getting to the truth. To her detriment, but I really appreciated her gusto.
Yeah, good gusto. She's got some really gritty reporter chops.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take you so far, does it?
Well, it doesn't if you're, trying to bring down the system. How can you see that with Irene, but you can't fucking see it with Alton?
No, like Teddy broke into her house.
Yeah.
Drugged her. Said, mate, drop this or you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
She wakes up the next morning. She's like, I'm going to go to the radio station and do it anyway.
At the persuasion of Alton.
She did not need any persuasion, man.
Ugh.
She just, mate, at what point do you say enough? You've been threatened. What good is getting your soundbite out there and your story out there at the expense of your life and your family's life? He threatened his whole fucking family, her whole fucking family. And she was still like, yeah, man.
But didn't you also say that Kenyan fighters had to fight even if it meant they wouldn't win?
Hey, don't use my words against me. What is this?
Your history belongs to the world, my love. It was very ambitious and it was folly. It was folly for her to think that she could take down the system. It was nice to see the CIA man. And when you think of CIA, his head pops into your head. It was nice to see him again. There's also inklings of Luthia being alive as well, which we didn't really get to talk about. It was folly. It was definitely folly to believe that they could do that. They couldn't even do that on The Wire in regards to like investigative journalism because it continues to get buried under. It's an elite few, but they all look after each other.
It's the Dickensian aspect of it all.
Thank you, OT.
You're welcome.
So learned of you.
I am.
Let's finish off with Scully and Manboy and I guess also Khadijah as well.
Scully, man. This is where I had qualms with Franklin. He should have chose. He should have made a decision. Either Get rid of Manboy or get rid of Scully?
No, but he was applying CIA strategy. He was pitting them against each other. Wrong decision, but I'm just saying.
Either you take out the ambitious Manboy who wants your connect and wants to run the town.
Yeah.
Or you stick with Scully, who's just comfortable being himself in the
But he's
streets.
dangerous. He's got a lot of bite and he's got a lot of bark. He's got a lot of both.
He has no ambition beyond his station.
No, but who would you have gone for if you? So you okay?
I would have gotten rid of Manboy. Fact. Quick facts.
Yeah, I would have too.
Yeah.
But we also learned that Khadijah was ready to go on a Jonathan Wilkinson adventure. So either way, she would have went after Fatback.
Yeah. But that's one of the things this season I was like, oh man, Franklin, come on, think.
Yeah.
You can't be a stone cold killer one morning and then the next round be, I can't make a decision. Let me see how it'll go. Because with an unproven quantity and unpredictable quantity like Scully, who was high up on drugs when he was going to the meeting.
Yeah.
He sensed trouble. He smelt it. He was like, I smell something. It could have been some bizarre shit. But his unpredictability led to all this shit.
Oh, absolutely.
If you just chosen Manboy, this shit would have ended. Maybe Khadijah would have felt away.
But not to the level of
Not to the level. Yeah.
I feel like it would have been messy either way. Nah. I definitely feel like that was the worst decision to make because I think we were like, okay, at least someone's going to die. Like Franklin's not going to die, but at least Scully or Manboy are going to die in the crossfire. Fucking none of them died. So it was the worst possible scenario.
Yeah, because he chose Manboy. He wanted Manboy to ambush Scully and kill them all. But then, man, Manboy is the worst.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Interesting. And I was happy watching this show from week to week. Like we mentioned in our Perry Mason episode and even The Boys season 2. Snowfall really did benefit from a week to week release because we were able to digest everything that was happening. And although it ended on a cliffhanger, they were all self-contained and we enjoyed ourselves and, being able to draw back on, even talking about Kevin really quickly earlier, just really lamenting on the moments that just happened and ramping up for what was going to happen next. And it was nice to enjoy the show without knowing it was going to be renewed for season 5. But in the last half of season 4, we did hear that there will be a season 5, which is also fine as well. But yeah, it's really interesting because it didn't pull any punches in regards to the storylines and the furthering of character arcs in this season. Usually when it's been renewed for 3 more seasons, it kind of slows down and it kind of stagnates character development. But we were all guns blazing.
We are.
If you pardon the Scullys. So it'll be interesting to see what season 5 branches off into. It makes me feel like it's going to be more expansive because they talked about expanding operations. We also have Louis' friends that are also in on it as well. So I guess we'll see how that's going. The 3 of them seemed a bit tumultuous, and they seem like they're going to get high off their supply, so I guess we'll see how that goes. Teddy's going to be very interesting to watch because he's kind of like a free agent now. So he's going to cause trouble and set fires that possibly Franklin will have to deal with. Avi, I love seeing Avi. Any moment we can see Avi is delicious to me. He's a great character. I love seeing him around, and he makes no mistake about who he is as well. Unless, there are millions of dollars that have disappeared somewhere.
Yup.
Is there anything else you want to add, my love, to this tantalizing extravaganza?
I loved how they did it.
Yeah,
I loved how everyone had a moment of be it epiphany, be it self-reflection. Everyone had that moment. Whether or not they took the chance to change their lives for the better or for the worst, that's yet to be seen. But they're given a chance. They're given an opportunity. Those are something that happened. With Scully, it was the death of his daughter. He changed. With Manboy just the same, man.
Yeah.
Even at the end when Manboy was being shot, he was like, yeah, he's the same, but be it Leon, Franklin, T, Peaches, everyone got a fucking opportunity.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And it's one of those things that season 5, I think, will be even gorier and bloodier, and there'll be betrayals, there'll be a lot of fights and backstabbings, because that's how Franklin has set this up.
Snowfall, season 5, Cloak and Daggers, Blood and Sand.
Exactly.
Well, let's finish off in a segment we call For Your Reference. So, because we've already covered Snowfall, I'll mention the references that we had last time, and feel free to add on it if you would like to, my love. I reference Wu-Tang and American Saga.
Nice.
Ashton Sanders, fucking love. Go again and watch Judas and the Black Messiah. He's great in it. And you referenced The Wire.
Oh, nice. And we did get Lap as well. Foresight, mate.
Yeah, and we also have Sissy there as well.
I do not recognize anyone related to D'Angelo.
Tap, tap, tap.
Yeah.
If you want to tap on our ass on Twitter and Instagram, we're at For Your Ref Pod.
Write us an email at hello@fypodcast.com.
We're also on Fatback Podcast if you'd like to leave a rating and review. And we'll see you guys next week.
See ya.
Bye.